All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our state financial aid webcast for June. My name is Alexandria Blakely. I'm a program specialist under Financial Aid Services, and I'm so excited to be joined by co-presenter, program specialist Laura DeGrush, who is also part of our Communications Financial Aid Services team. And today we also have Vanessa Malo, Assistant Director of Web-Based Learning, who will be presenting as well. This webcast, like I mentioned before, will be recorded and it will be available about a week after today, just in case you want to watch it again or hear it again. The webcast will be on our SFAP Stay Connected website under Webcast Archives, and I did put that link in the chat for you. And we're also going to be answering questions in the chat. Leah Smalley is attending and will be watching the chat to follow up with any questions you may have. And again, I want to thank you for joining us today. And without further ado, let's get started. Our topics of discussion are fiscal year 2023 program guidelines updates, work study, student mentorship reporting updates, TXWORKS promotional activities, online TASFA updates, deadlines and reminders, and then we'll end with some questions. Let's get started on the program guideline updates for 2023. For more details, please refer to May's webcast as we covered the grant guidelines for Texas, TEOG, and TEG. Guidelines can be found on our Student Financial Aid Programs or SFAP website under Program Resources. You can find our published memos for the College Access Loan, Texas Armed Services Scholarship Program, Texas College Work Study Student Mentorship Program, Educational Aid Exemption, and Bilingual Education Program Guidelines on our Stay Connected page for fiscal year 2023. And we will also have the comprehensive guidelines for fiscal year 23 coming soon as well, located on the red section on the right-hand side of our SFAP page. All special program guideline updates to the years have been made for the 2022-2023 academic year. We also have a new layout, and the 60 by 30 logo was replaced by our new agency logo. All program details were updated for clarity with new available tools or references where appropriate. For instance, we have updated the selective service statement section. Then we've added clarity to the eligibility criteria, and we added an alert box regarding the child support arrearages that you see here. Deadline dates for reports and action items were updated across the board. So in this example, we have highlighted when reporting is due and when institutions can request and return funds. We have updated the PDF links to a snapshot in time for our Texas Administrative Codes, TAC, and the Texas Education Codes, TEC, related to the programs at hand, and that's shown here. Just like with the state grant programs, all state programs are impacted by the selective service statement and thus have been applied to all program guidelines. Even though the selective service requirements have been removed on a federal level, Texas law has not changed for students who are receiving state financial aid. Please note, Institutions are no longer required to collect proof of registration or exemption from students. Institutions are also not required to verify the accuracy of the statement against external databases or other resources if there is no conflicting information given. Just like with the three state grant programs, we have made institutions aware of the child support arrearages section in the Texas Family Code. We want to bring this to your attention, but we do not determine its impact on all state programs. In the alert box below here, we note that per Texas Family Code Title 5, Section 231.006, a student who is obligated to pay child support and is more than 30 days delinquent is not eligible to receive a state-funded grant or loan. We do encourage you to work with your legal counsel on questions regarding the mandate and its impact on state financial aid programs. We have updated guidelines to reflect the allowable transfer amounts between programs as reflected in the new Texas Administrative Code shown here. Please keep in mind that institutions will need to submit an online transfer request by this Friday, July 1st. Just a reminder on the tools available. We have the HelmNet Change Transactions Instructions Guide, which will help assist with pre-disbursement loan changes, and the HelmNet online reporting tool, which helps with reviewing student loan statuses. These tools aren't necessarily new, but we want to inform you on some things that you can do on your end. However, if there are changes that need to be made on loans and those options aren't available in the portal for whatever reason, you will need to send an email through our contact us option. We have updated the TASP nomination and certification processes to align with HH loans. Just as a reminder, on this. Administrators should create the account for students in HelmNet for TASP. It's a little different than the process for Cal, where the student would create their own account. Nothing major has changed with the educational aid exemption program guidelines, but but the teacher shortage areas for 2022 and 2023 now also include English, language arts, and reading on the elementary and secondary levels, and then also science on the secondary level. But please note down at the bottom that the participating list of schools, the EAE application, and the FAQs will be released once we have the final allocations. Nothing has changed for the bilingual education program guidelines. The overarching updates, such as selective service statement, child support arrearages, and other annual updates, were made. We have received several requests regarding permission to use funding for summer awards. This alert box informs institutions that permission has already been granted. This does apply to both the fiscal year 2022 for current summer ending August 31st and the fiscal year of 2023. And not too much has changed for the work study student mentorship program, but you can find the reports and the Ask Advi tools in the guidelines and in the quick references section. And at this time, we have Vanessa Malo that will now further discuss the updates for this program and Texas Works. So, Vanessa, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, and thank you for your time today. Again, my name is Vanessa Malol. I am the Assistant Director for Work-Based Learning Programs, specifically the Mentorship Program and also the TXWORKS program. And so today I'm just going to provide you with a few updates and also share with you an exciting event that we have that is upcoming. So this is just a refresher of what the Work-Study Student Mentorship Program is for those that are not familiar with it. This program is, as you know, appropriated by financial aid, but the purpose is to mentor, tutor, or advise students. So you have employment opportunities for college students to be able to serve their peers and also work off campus within high school setting, serving in this capacity. So here we are for program updates. All reporting will remain the same. The one thing that is changing this year and also as we progress is that you are no longer required to report persistence of students served in this upcoming reporting period. Now, if you have this type of aggregate information, you are always welcome to share your accomplishments with us. We always appreciate insight that you gain, but it is no longer a requirement. We also have the sibling program of the Work-Study Student Mentorship Program, which is the TXWORKS Internship Program. And this program is also paid work opportunities for Texas college students, specifically serving students of need with an opportunity to have a work-based learning experience with employers. This program is unique because the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board has agreements directly with employers across the state of Texas. TXWORKS requires that students have at the minimum 8 weeks of an internship opportunity and work a minimum total of 96 hours. The wage is a minimum of $20 per hour. Employers have an opportunity to pay more if they see fit. We encourage Texas employers to provide opportunities that are face-to-face, virtually, or hybrid. And two key factors is that the internship experience cannot be more than 25% administrative work and no more than 50% of the eligible students who are participating can be interns of the employer staff. I'm sharing a little bit of information, and it may be a refresher for some of you. You might be familiar with this TXWORKS program to encourage if you could please share this opportunity with any employers that might be interested in participating in the program, but also students. I will be adding the link into the chat so that you can get connected with us, but also learn a little bit more about the program. And then last item I wanted to share with you today is the Save the Date. We are celebrating the National Intern Day through a conference that we are co-hosting with the Texas Workforce Commission on July 28th. We would love to see you there along with your students. Attendees will be institutions from across Texas, students from across Texas, and also employers, but it'll be a great opportunity for all of us to connect. There will be all networking opportunities for the students, career exploration opportunities, and keynote speakers. So we look forward and hope to see you there. I'm going to pass and transition to Laura.
Oh, thank you so much, Vanessa. Very good information here. And I believe we are good to go here. So we will move along to our last big topic. And it will be on the TASFA, so the 2023-24 TASFA. So we will be looking at the updates that we have available. Now we have really good information in our our April and May webcasts available in our archives, and you can find more information on the online TASFA and specifications. If this is a very new topic for you, we are talking about the Texas application for state financial aid. And let's delve right into where we are at this summer. We are deep in our final stages here for getting the online TASFA up to launch, and we are working on our refinements. And so what that means is we are really working on not only the functionality of the online TASFA, but also the content. So as of right now, we are working on refining our test files, and we acknowledge that we've mentioned that in our past webcasts, and that still is our intention to bring forward. And we will have test files available, and they will be created for institutions so that they can be uploaded. It's so that that data transmission can happen and can be practiced and training. And this will be uploaded into our Move It DMZ system, where there will be a TASFA output folder. We have gone over a bit more information of how this works in our past webcast for May. So please look that up in case you're interested in the process and what to look for, what it looks like. Now, in terms of what else we're refining now, we are working on our help icons and our instructions and anything and everything that will help a student or a user navigate the online TASFA. We hope to make it as easy and as clear as possible. So that's what we're working on right now. And we also are continuing our outreach. We hope to really to expand on our outreach and training available. That will be very important in the coming months. We've recently done a presentation with the Texas College Access Network, the TexCAN, on June 13th. And we are continuing our planning and collaboration with Texas Encore. You may be familiar with Texas Encore, as they have wonderful resources for administrators, whether at the high school or the college higher education level, that will help with trainings with financial aid services and with the TASFA. So we are coordinating to have as many resources as we can as we get moving and as moving forward. So we hope to have good resources available for our launch and to continue building resources, just like as the FAFSA does, to continue with training and development over the years. That's what we hope to have available. Now, in terms of what else we are doing right now, we are deep in testing this summer. So we have been doing our internal testing that would be within the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, and also our external testing. Now, our external testing, we have a group of dedicated TASFA committee members helping us, and we will have other opportunities, especially with test files for those interested with institutions. It may be of a different nature, but we do hope to expand our ability for institutions to have enough training and available feedback to us to make sure our process is as seamless as it can be. In terms of our internal testing, we have been working on our user acceptance testing. Not only have we just finished internal testing for independent students, that would be, for example, a student that wouldn't need a parent signature or parent information. We have also been working on and finalizing our internal testing for dependent students, and that would mean a student that would need parent information. And so not only would they need that information from a parent one or a parent one and a parent two, but also to have the ability to send an email to a parent so that they can go ahead and validate information and to sign. So that's the functionality that we are looking at now with our testing. And so with internal testing underway and in progress and really complete for the basic functionality, we are also working on our external testing. And that would be with our TASFA committee members. And this is for the user acceptance testing, UAT. And it's underway for and in progress for independent student cases. And this coming week, we are looking at and moving forward, making the plans and working towards our dependent student test cases. So really, we are breaking it up to be able to really examine closely all the different aspects and all the different smart formulas and skip logics, you might call them, to make sure that it's pulling the right information and performing correctly for a user. And so that is what we are looking at now and underway. Now, we've already mentioned that we do hope to involve institutions with the data transmission, feedback, and testing, and that will be coming forth as soon as we can, and we will announce that. So really what we have been doing, it's this past month from the last update, I would recommend again, just as I mentioned, to watch the April and May webcasts on the online TASFA, as we do clarify various items in rule and statute and what to expect from the online TASFA along with the paper copy TASFA, which will also be available moving forward. But it is all very exciting, and there's a lot to go that we are ramping up to make sure it performs well for our launch. So we are working hard on this to make sure it'll be as good as we can have available. And so without further mention here of the TASFA, let us look a bit more at our schedule. And this goes into a bit more of our testing schedule. This is a rough estimate of where our TASFA committee for our external testing, just to give you a sense of what we are doing this summer. I've mentioned our independent student testing, and we are working on that external testing for iteration 1 in red. You can see in June there, and we are finalizing that and really moving towards our iteration 2, our dependent student and parent information testing. So this aspect, we will make sure that the basic functionality is happening and working so that a student that would need a parent to sign and have information, that those aspects of the application are working correctly. And what that really means is that we have aspects of the application that are hidden or displayed depending on each answer. And so we just want to ensure with our internal and external testing that that functionality is available. It's also that it makes sense and that it's clear in terms of what to expect. So both iteration 1 and iteration 2 are underway here. We're in that transition. And for July, we will be working towards iteration 3, which would be really to ensure clarity and functionality of the emails and correspondence coming from the online TASFA, along with other resources and items that will be available. For example, the ability to, once the application submitted, to have the ability as a student to submit to additional schools. So that would mean that once an application is already complete, a student can sign back in and wouldn't be able to change information, but they would be able to submit to additional schools. And we want to ensure that the right amount of schools will be available, and that, for example, the first iteration when, or rather the first time a student submits, that they can submit up to 10 colleges. And also they would have to at least submit to 1 college. And so that would be the first time that a student fills out and completes and signs and submits their online TASFA. And then say if they decide to look at other colleges or they have new information available to them, they can go back in. And we want to make sure with iteration 3 that this is something that is functional and clear. And so that's what we'll be doing in July, really testing the nuances of the online TASFA. Then in August, we will really be looking at all aspects of the TASFA, making sure that any sort of issue is worked out and that the application is clear and comprehensive, so that whether a student is an independent student, a dependent student, or is required to fill out the selective service statement, or whether they're female or male or any other demographic issue or any other demographic item that may come up, that the online TASFA is responsive to their answers. So that's what we'll be looking at in August. And so that is a bit of our testing timeline, just to share that. So it's very exciting here. Now, let us transition over to our overall state financial aid programs and look at our deadlines and reminders. And so here, we've already mentioned in terms of deadlines, the deadline for the authority to transfer. And Alex pointed out for us that that is this Friday, July 1st, 2022. So that is coming up shortly. Please get those in for us. And other deadlines coming up a bit later, but worth pointing out as we're entering summer, and it's always good to look ahead because the summer happens so quickly, is the deadline to request any final fiscal year 2022, and that would be for the 21-22 academic year. So for the fiscal year 2022, funds for the following programs. So whether it's Texas Grant, TOG, TAG, EAE, and Bilingual Education, all of those requests must be in by August 1st. Well, with that in mind, let us look at general reminders. The Financial Aid Database, FAD, Cycle 2 has been open since June 15th. So with that open, please submit your Cycle 2 for FAD. And so you can find any of these general reminders and dates, and we just like to point it out. You can find these on our summer institutional calendar, and you can find that under Stay Connected. Now, our Stay Connected page, you can find memos, just like how Alex pointed out. You can find our webcast archive, and you can find our calendars along with other ways of staying connected and getting on our listserv. So it's a great page to have in mind. Other general reminders, just like how it's the deadline to request the fiscal year 2022 funds, the final deadline to request, well, August 1st is actually the first day to submit any possible funds requests for fiscal year 2023 for those same programs for Texas Grant, TEOG, TAG, EAE, and Bilingual Education. So August 1st is a big, important date to keep in mind to watch for. Other items to watch for that are coming out soon will be updates to our exemption and waiver programs. We hope to add any updates so you can look for those for our exemption and waiver programs and charts. We also will have, as Alex pointed out, a comprehensive guideline available for the fiscal year 2023. And what that means is that it's the stacking of all our grants and special programs into one PDF, and it can be very useful to have. So we like to prepare that and make it available, and you'll see that coming out soon. So those are some things to keep in mind. Now, if you have questions, we have different ways to get in contact, and we go over these in all of our webcasts, but it's good as a reminder, and in case we have new staff, we have two public-facing lines. We have, for our students, parents, and general public, we have our borrower services line, and this would be for student borrowers or cosigners, and that is at 800-242-3062. We also have our general financial aid programs line, which is the Texas Financial Aid Information Center. And this is a public line where the number is 888-311-8881 and can be found on our College for All Texans website. In terms of numbers to get a hold of our financial aid services team, as an institution, you may call us, and this is an institutional number that we We like to keep separate and available just for administration. So please don't publish this number, but it is good for your purposes to have in mind and to give us a call. This institutional number is 844-792-2640. Now, our phone lines are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and close daily at lunch, 12 to 1. And in case you would like something in writing or have the time available to send in a contact us, these are good as they sometimes do require more than a business day to respond to, but we do like to be able to make sure we can give you a proper and full answer and research an item if needed. We have this option for a contact us inquiry, and you can find links for this on our webpage under student financial aid programs, our Stay Connected page, and our program resources page. You can find it on a few of our pages, and it's a good one to favorite. Now, to fill out a contact us, there's a way to do it so that it effectively goes to our department and so that we can answer you as best as we can and as soon as we can. The first step, we would prefer that you put in institution here so that we can know right off that it's coming from an institution as opposed to a student or somebody from the general public. And please do put in your full institutional name just so that we know which campus, which location or exact school that we are responding to. It will also be very important that you select financial aid questions so that it goes directly to our team so that we can respond quickly. As say, if you do select something else on the list, it may hop around to various departments before it gets back to us. So that is very important to keep in mind. And in terms of the description, please do write as much as you can. That would help direct us to what the main issue is, and just being careful to not have any personal information such as a full social security number, anything that could identify a student of that nature. So it's important to be careful there. And in case we have any questions, please fill out the phone number so we can call you directly. And that can be very helpful if we have a follow-up question or if you'd prefer to have a response over the phone. So that is the overview of how to send in a contact us. Now, I know we've covered quite a lot in this presentation, and I imagine we may be catching up in our chat here. We've reached the end. Are there any outgoing questions here that still need to be answered? And it looks like, looking at the chat, we have a couple more that we are working on here. Thank you so much, Lear, for fielding the questions. And I see that Vanessa too is helping out. Thank you so much for being able to answer questions on this. And so without further ado, we will close our presentation, but we will stay up for any further questions that may come forward. We will have this webcast recorded and available on our Stay Connected page so that you can go back to both the PowerPoint and the video. Once again, thank you for joining us, and I do hope that this was helpful. We will have a July session and webcast available, and we hope to bring on new speakers and new topics that will be of interest this summer. So thank you so much and have a wonderful afternoon here. And thank you again, Alex Blakely and Vanessa Malo, for presenting. We really covered some good information here. So I do appreciate it so very much today. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful afternoon.